pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Ingo, I am happy to report that all members are present, so I think we can just record that in the minutes as presented there. We have an agenda in front of us this evening. Is there any addition or correction to that, Mr. Myhock, please?
Nope, everything is accurate and as is.
And with that, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda in front of us this evening, please.
Move to approve agenda.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Schoenrock, seconded by Ms. Tyre to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'll ask if there are any public comments this evening that you're aware of, or anyone care to speak publicly?
Deb, you were up there, you weren't citing as a public speaker, were you?
No, I was just signing in as.
Okay,
Appreciate that.
then there is no public comments.
All right, thank you for that, and we will move right into the superintendent's report. Mr. Myhock, please.
We'll start with our administrative team sharing their information. And the order of that is
Drum roll.
Dr. Meyer.
Welcome, Dr. Meyer, and thank you for being with us tonight.
Hello, good to see everyone. So just to highlight a lot of things that have been going on, super busy, exciting school year. So conferences, we're off to a great start. We had a great turnout. We had our picture day for our students. We had our Panther Pride kickoff, and what that is I went to each of the classrooms and we talked about what Panther Pride is. We went over some of the new things that have come up for Panther Pride, expectations, just to review, and talking about what are some of those prizes, awards, rewards that they can get to. And we also talked a little bit more about the minor major forum, some of those things too, about some of those consequences that also happen. So that is also in the Panther Pride Family Handbook that we shared with families when they came to the conferences as well. Bass Bridge Fall assessments, we're continuing to do that as well. That's our benchmark assessments in the fall, winter, and spring. So we're doing our fall assessments right now, and then we start our data meetings with our grade level starting this Thursday, just to go over the data, how the students are doing, and look at placement in Title I, Reading Core, and then any other interventions they may need. And then our bus safety, so we had a bus driver come to the classrooms during their gym time, and he shared bus safety with each of the students. They walked through the bus, he went over some expectations about buses. Ag safety is tomorrow. We're excited to have the high school students at the FFA, so they're coming out to the football field tomorrow. So they'll be getting to look at all the different animals. So totally new. I'm not sure what to expect. I'm sure it'll be awesome. So that starts tomorrow morning. And then second and third grade field trips are coming up. Our Club's Choice PTO fundraiser, the cookie dough fundraiser, is also coming up here, I think, on the 26th. And I mentioned if you click on this, you can go to the family handbook, the Panther Pride. It just kind of goes over an overview of expectations for our behavior, our school-wide expectations, our matrix, all of those different pieces. If you have questions about that, please let me know. And then if you click on also this family newsletter, that's being sent out every month to the families just to highlight things that are going on in our school. It also includes all these different events and monthly events that happen too. So any questions for me?
I just have a comment. I think everybody should click on her family newsletter. It's very good, and it's very, very informative. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Teaching and learning.
Hello.
Hi there. Welcome.
Thank you. I have been reading into the READ Act. So just a little bit of an update. K-5 is kind of rolling and doing its thing. So a huge shift is going to be from 6th to 12th grade. So the first, it says 4 through 12 because it is 4 through 12, but we're only going to be doing this 6 through 12 because 4th and 5th graders already have their fast bridge. So 6 through 12 is ROAR, that is rapid online assessment of reading, and it really just lays out the foundational reading skills and pass that proficiently according to their grade level, then they will have to do that secondary training, and more information will be coming on that, because we don't even know how many kids that's going to affect yet. And the next thing for Read Act is also the OLA training. That is the Online Language Literacy Academy. So it's one of the screeners from the state of Minnesota that is approved for the teachers to go through for science of reading. So there's really only 2 teachers that need to do that this year. There's the new reading intervention teacher and the Spanish teacher, because she oversees the EL program. Next year will be 6th grade and anyone who has to do with ELA. So we're still kind of on stage 1 of that. And then I linked a handful of MCA data that came out about a week and a half ago. Science was just released on Friday, so I do not have the updated science one, but I do have reading and math. And then just a snapshot of the beginning of the year K-5 data for the elementary building up to Thursday. So if kids still assessed on Friday or some, stragglers assessed today, then that might be skewed a little bit, but it'll give you a good idea of what that might look like. So this is reading district-wide, 3rd grade through 11th grade. So here's the state. Here is NRHEG. We are about 6.5% lower than the state average right now. One of the insights that I did see that was really positive is we have a really big chunk of students who are in the almost category. So I think with that new curriculum coming in and just a really strong foundation at the elementary level, I feel like this one could be shrunk in hopes that this one grows. Okay, so I was just kind of looking at it a couple different ways. This is what it looks like across the grade levels. The blue is NRHEG, the red is state. This is the one that stuck out to me, that we were consistently lower than the state numbers until we hit that 10th grade level. Why, I'm not sure, but that one kind of stuck out as an interesting data point for me. And then this is the historical data. They say that you're supposed to only look at 3rd grade, for whatever reason was really high that year, but statewide it was really high, so it might have been a change in the test, and then 3rd grade. But you can also see this year's 5th graders as 3rd graders. So you can see this is where they were as 3rd graders a couple years ago. Then this is what they look like as 4th graders. This is what they looked like last year as 5th graders. So we'll be able to track them as 6th graders this year also. So you can look at it a couple different ways. Like you can see across the grade level, and sometimes that's just a matter of a few questions changing in the test format, and it might drop the score statewide. But then this one's really high. So it depends on how you would like to look at it.
I think this is very interesting here that it's consistent across the board. If we take a look at the 24-25 4th graders.
That one?
Yep. If you look to how the students in 4th grade during the 23-24 school year did, we did better. But if you look at that individual grouping of students, they did worse than the year before. And go down the line, you'll see that consistently across the board. 5th graders did worse than what the 5th graders did last year, but they had a 20% increase in that group of kids. So if it's not an improvement from year to year, or grade level within the grade level, it's an improvement from year to year, that group following down. And again, there's no exceptions that I see on that rule, that we
If
either.
it's not growth this way, then it's growth diagonally.
Right.
Or vice versa, yeah,
Yep.
on all of them.
But when you go across, it's not the same, like, the 3rd graders in 2023 are not the same 3rd graders in
Correct.
2024, right?
Right, but they're 5th graders in 24-25.
Yes.
And from 2 years ago, they still increased 10-11%,
Right,
with a big dip in between.
yeah,
But,
well, there's so many variables,
right.
yeah.
The next few slides are the equivalent, but it's the math. So for math, the math, it's still a little bit lower, but not as much. This is a little over 6% difference from state to New Richland. And my insight on this one, looking at it, was almost all of these categories are even. Just a few at the top, but it's kind of across the board for the state too. It's very even categories. There's not one category that's higher or lower than the other. They're very consistent. Go ahead and click. And this is our grade level. Third, fourth, and fifth are consistently higher than the state average. Anything higher than fifth is consistently lower. We are now in year 7, Terry maybe, of a very good, strong elementary math curriculum.
Yeah.
And you can see that in our scores.
So life expectancy of the curriculum?
Yes, the state. I don't know, I just, it depends on the success of it, really. If it isn't broken, you don't wanna fix it.
And if they renew the standards, just to see if the standards continue to align.
Continue to align, yeah, but this one is,
This one's
It's
a
a
good
good
one.
one.
It's pretty robust. And then this is the historical data for math. So you can see our elementary numbers are quite high, secondary not as high. But across the board is the way we're supposed to look at it, third grade, so that you can see a consistency in the test. But it is kind of fun to see, track, and see what those kids do. Like 50%, 60, all the way down to 20. Like it's hard to
well, the
decipher data from one to the next.
the curriculum that we have now is really focused on problem solving and different ways to do that. And so the kids get to do a lot of thinking, and there's more than one way, and so each kid can find their own niche, kind of, and it's nice to see the numbers go up.
And then if you click, I added each one of these slides is just grade level, whatever data I could collect for beginning of the year. This is fast bridge assessments. For kindergarten and first grade is one-on-one. You sit right with the one student and you do a quick 1-minute test to see their facts and how quickly they can do this. So if you're looking at these, this is last year's kindergartners, how they started the school year. This is this year's kindergarten, how they started this school year. And this is so this is fall, winter, and spring of their kindergarten year. And then this is the current kindergartners. So last year's kindergartners came in at 83 proficient. This year's kindergartners came in at 68% proficient. So you can see just kind of the difference in kindergartners coming in a little bit lower. Math was not finished yet. Quick to first grade. You can see incoming first grade last year, kind of compared to incoming first grade this year. Our first graders a little bit higher than what they came in last year. And then math is that consistency. There's that curriculum that's in place, kindergarten last year, good preschool programs. Go ahead. Second grade, reading is consistent across the board. Math, this is fall, winter, spring. Fall. They're spot on to where they were last year. Third grade. This is extremely consistent from throughout the school year last year. And this is the incoming third graders this year, so a little bit higher incoming scores. And this is their math, so their incoming math scores are also corresponding to their reading scores.
80%.
This is fourth grade scores. So reading, incoming fourth graders last year, incoming fourth graders this year. There's that consistency in that math program, and here's the incoming fourth graders are performing a little bit better than last year's. And math for fifth grade wasn't done as of Thursday afternoon, so this is what we got. Here's the incoming fifth graders last year. There's that consistency. And then here's the incoming fifth graders this year.
Very
Thank
good,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Interesting. Welcome, Mr. Byrne.
All right, at the secondary, this year I really felt like we got off and running very quickly. And I think part of that is the reason that we had the whole staff back. There's very little questions of what was happening, where, how, when. You know, we're only in week 3, but it really feels like we're at the end of quarter 1 just because it's going smooth. Ash Avenue, that is working better than anticipated. Parents and students were great. They made the transition very easy. The construction company finally caught on here after about 10 days, but they've been staying out of the way. And the only thing we worry about now is dirt and dust. And hopefully they get it paved soon. Homecoming we've got coming up here starting September 29th through October 4th. One thing different this year is we're gonna have a Saturday night semi-formal dance. No attire required though. You can wear whatever you want there, but they wanted to try something different. So we're gonna switch out a dance in the winter time at Snow Week to try it on a Saturday at homecoming with the hopes of maybe getting some more people there. We'll try it and see if it works. If not, we'll make adjustments. Dr. Meyer talked about Egg Safety Day here tomorrow, so we've got a bunch of FFA members coming over, teach elementary about some egg safety. Obviously our fall activities are off and running too. All of our student groups are starting to get running as well. The Marching Classic is this weekend in Waseca. I think it's been a couple, did they go last year? We had some time off, but we do have our marching band going to participate in that. Before our next meeting, we will have our one and only conference of the year. So hopefully we get some parents in and attend that, and we're still working with our parent log and reaching out to them. And then also before I see you again, it's MEA break. Questions?
Just a comment, Grant, I'd like to commend you on the open house. I think that went very well. I'm not sure how the numbers compared to previous years, but it sure seemed like there was good traffic, and I think it went over very well.
Yes, and
Thank
thank you
you.
for those that came and helped. And yeah, I
It's
think
fun.
we had
It was
400
fun.
and, well, I think we had 450 hot dogs, and there were probably 25 left now. Who ate how many or what, you
Yeah.
can't really tell, but yeah,
43
I do
people
believe
were
we
there.
had, what's that,
43 people.
No.
43 people,
The
yeah.
football team was well
Yeah.
fed.
Yes.
Yes, they did eat quite a few, but I will say it was very well attended,
Yeah.
and-
Yes.
and hopefully it's something we can build on as well.
That was a good job. Thank you.
I want to add to the Ash Avenue comments here as well, that Mr. Byrd talked about the dust and the dirt. And even if the park, if that Ash Avenue was completed and the asphalt was laid, we'd still have the parking and until 4th and Broadway are finished, and the buses can use those, or the cars can use those. We'll still have the parking situation or exiting situation until all streets are finished. So we'd like to get rid of the dust and the dirt. That's not hindering, or that's not fixing the exit, enter and exit and parking and pickup. That will remain in place until Broadway and 4th are done. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
I provided a couple different handouts for you. I'm sorry, Mason.
I won't take too much time.
No, take all the time you need, Macy. Well,
All right, not a whole lot of changes from last year to this year as far as the timing of the year goes. Just kind of an update on screening on there. I have reached out to Waseca Public Health to have one of their nurses help us with the screening and vision portion, or the vision and hearing portion of our screening. Otherwise, preschool registration numbers they're about average. We have smaller class sizes in New Richland than we do in Ellendale here, which I've seen before. A couple of years ago, it was the same kind of trend. Smaller class sizes in New Richland, much bigger class sizes in Ellendale. It fluctuates.
Otherwise, we have conferences the week of November 10th. We didn't have to do anything with our parent fees that we charge for preschool. We have about the same number of students that will be needing scholarships this year as last year. We do have a new parent educator, Missy Dunn, with our ECFE parent education class called Adventures in Parenting. That begins on September 30th. So you can go to the next slide. Sorry, that's fine. Our school age care program is doing well. We have opened a wraparound preschool daycare in Ellendale here. And that program is actually for our little ones is bigger than what is in New Richland right now. And we opened it here because we finally have the amount of kids that we needed in order to open it, and the need is finally there. So I'm hoping that trend continues and we're able to keep it open here. Otherwise, I didn't have to, because we have about the same number of kids this year as last year, we just shifted staff around and kind of became creative with different things that we were doing as far as shifts and everything like that. Otherwise, with our school age care program, I did start, or we did contract with ProCare. It's an online child care management software system, so our parents can look up invoices online. They can look at all their statements, payments, invoices, tax receipts, everything online, and finally make payments online, so we're finally in whatever century this is. Our youth rec program is going great. Over the summer, we had 15 more T-ball and coach pitchers than we did the previous year. We had a few more kids registered for our flag football program. We have just a couple less athletes in our clay targets. Otherwise, competition cheer, first year that we've had co-ed, so we're pretty excited about that. That just changes some of the competitions that the team is able to go to and participate in. Otherwise, performance cheer, youth dance, they'll begin the beginning of October. We did take a bus trip up to the Plymouth Playhouse in August to see Church Basement Ladies. It was actually hilarious. If you guys have never gone to it, go for it. But they had announced that they were doing another, like version 2, or take 2 of Church Basement Ladies next year. So I had quite a few requests to get a bus trip up and going for that one as well. Otherwise, special events are the same. You can flip to the next one. And we have a lot of things coming up for facility use, and our brochure, I'm hoping, is delivered probably within the next week and should be in mailboxes by the end of September for October through December activities. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Mason. All right, to add to my part of the report, I did provide a couple different handouts. One is the recap or summary of the fundraisers that are internal fundraisers and external fundraisers that reported last year. As you can see, most of them, many of them have their financial report included on there. And again, the purpose of this is obviously to make you aware and see the number of different things that are taking place. Ideally, we don't want 6 cookie dough fundraisers taking place over the course of the year, so this allows us to track it and then see again what type of donations or funds are raised by the different activities. So no action is needed on that. That's just for your information. The front side, the larger chart, is our internal fundraisers. The back with the smaller is our connected but external organizations, and I tell them all the time that they're not required to report to us, but we ask as a courtesy that we know what's going on, that obviously has our name attached to it, so we're aware of the different activities and fundraising that they have going on as well. And they don't provide the financial report, or aren't asked to. That's their business. The other handout I provided to you was for a safety training that I registered for that a couple of weeks ago. They happened to send an email today, so that's good information. I'll talk a little bit later on too about our policies that we're working on that include a crisis plan and reunification, but I was asked in the email, they said share this with anyone that might be interested in attending, so if that looks of interest to you and it's, if you're available for those dates and times, let me know and we can get you registered, so just for your information. In my newsletter, I did talk about our staff, the personal social our social media accounts, and that we do not have, currently we do not have a policy that addresses that in our series. MSBA does not have a template or a recommendation or requirement for that policy to be added. So I'd like to get our policy committee, which is, help me here, Kelly, Lauren, and Pat, or Terry.
I guess so, I don't know.
Okay. Either myself or Sarah will get an email out just to find some dates here within the next week or so. That would work for everyone to get together, and I provided you in the newsletter with some sample policies that other districts have adopted, and we can go through and put something together. I'll present it to the board for reading one, and then present it later for a second reading and your final approval. In our consent agenda, policy 506 is included in that, and again, we're keeping it in the consent agenda, not voting on it separately, but I did want to make mention of policy 506, that we are required as a school district to review and approve that policy, which is more about student discipline and behaviors, that it is our requirement to review and approve that every year. And there is also requirements, and as an administrative team, we reviewed that policy, that the admin, the principals, have some responsibilities as far as notification to parents on the policy and the different rights that they have. And Mr. Berg or Dr. Meyer, both of them have either fulfilled those requirements or are in the process of reaching out and communicating with parents on the different requirements within that policy. So just bringing that to your attention. And also in the consent agenda, there's a summary of the student enrollment. And overall, we gained 9 students from last year with our additions, our ins and our outs. We did gain 9 students overall. In that list, we did lose 6 students to open enrollment, which is always kind of that sore spot. And 3 of those students were preschool or Bridges program, so they were never part of our district to begin with, for whatever family reasons. So I guess maybe trying to soften that blow, that it's not 6 kids that were in our classroom and left for better options, or for different options. But we also had 9 students open enroll into our district. So 6 students left, 9 students open enrolled into our district, and overall that we are 9 to the positive. So that's good news as far as our enrollment numbers go. Our Buildings and Grounds Committee, and probably more specifically our board chair and vice chair, have been involved in some conversations with Southwest Metro as far as the special ed facilities and the potential of the collaboration that we have with Southwest Metro to purchase the Morristown School building and move the programming that's currently in Waseca to the Morristown building. If you remember, Dr. Horton from Southwest Metro came and spoke to the entire board at one point, and then also has met, like I said, with the Buildings and Grounds Committee and their chair and vice chair, that for those involved in that, we do have to have some sort of commitment or lack of commitment or semi-commitment reported to Dr. Horton by October 3rd. So we'll have to meet again just to kind of bring things together and be able to report back to that committee that we're full in on this, we're fully out of it, or I guess we could say we need more time to
We're in
learn some
between.
information. That there is another meeting with the user group coming up here as well that will have more discussions on financial aspects. So after that meeting, I'll include that in my newsletter, which is still before October 3rd, and get everyone up to speed on what's taking place and how that's, the big picture is coming together on that. And that is it for my report.
Any questions for Mr. Mayak this evening? Not, thank you. How about, we'll move on to board member comments. Anything any board members would like to add this evening? If not, our next regular meeting is scheduled for Monday, October 20th, and that will be back at New Richland in the Secondary School Media Center at 6:30 p.m. Does bring us to our consent agenda, and Mr. Mayak hit some of that prior. Anything you'd like to add before we have a motion to approve?
I will read our regular disclaimer that goes along with our consent agenda. That reads, for the consent agenda, the board has been furnished with background materials on each item or has discussed it at a previous meeting. These will be acted upon with one vote without discussion. If a board member wants to discuss any item, it will be pulled out of the consent agenda and we will vote on it separately, or you will vote on it separately. But before I ask for your approval, I'm pleased to recognize the donations that we received since our last board meeting. Those include a $582.61 donation from Trinity Lutheran Church for our inclusive playground, a $175 donation from Superior Foods and Catering, and that was for our staff back-to-school workshop breakfast. We had a $100 donation from Andy Lerberg for our inclusive playground. And then we had a number of donations for our Eagle Bluff trip. And all of these are included on that. $100 from L&D Ag, $100 from Mo's Construction, $50 donation from Main Street Dental. We had a $100 donation from Thompson Sanitation, a $1,500 donation from the New Richland Firemen's Relief Association, a $190 donation from Hewlin Brothers, and finally a $100 donation from Veracon, again all for our Eagle Bluff trip. The total of that is $2,997.61, bringing our total to date of $30,825.61 of donations. And with appreciation for that, I would ask for your approval on the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda items.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Erke, seconded by Mr. Phillips to approve the consent agenda items as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Takes us into the Education Minnesota. We are happy to report that they have approved a 2-year contract. Appreciate the people that worked on that committee to bring the two groups together to have before us the 25-27 Education Minnesota contract. Mr. Mayak, do you want to brief us on that, please?
The only addition I would have to that is it's an 8% total package increase over the 2 years. And as typical, we use that, and that sets the standards for all the other contracts that we settled thereafter. To Rick's point, the appreciation for our committee as well as the Education Minnesota negotiating team. I believe it was 3 meetings or 4 meetings. It was very quickly. A tentative agreement was done again very quickly, and that is very much appreciated, the collaboration that we have between the school district and the teachers union. So I'd ask for your approval on the 8% total package increase of the Education Minnesota contract starting in 2025 and ending in 2027.
Make a motion to approve the Education
Motion made by Ms. Herkey, seconded by Ms. Tyre to approve the Education Minnesota contract for 25 through 2027. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That same note, our bus drivers have a rates of pay before us this evening. Mr. Mayak?
And our bus drivers are not part of a bargaining unit, and so the contract that we present to them is what we are offering for compensation for the upcoming years. As I stated, that we typically use the teacher package to base our increases on the other bargaining units or the other groups or individuals. And so we added a 4% increase on each of the 2 years for our bus drivers. And I'm asking for your approval on that rate increase.
Make a motion to approve the bus driver rates of pay as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Herkey, seconded by Ms. Tyre to approve the bus driver rates of pay as presented. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Time of year where we start talking about, or do talk about the maximum levy authority for 25 payable 26. Mr. Mayak, assumed.
You stole the words out of my mouth, and it is this time of year where we have the conversation and we need the approval of the levy authorization. Again, this year we'll be seeking the max levy, which has been our protocol for many different years. Carla, if you have any additional bits of information you would share on this. And this is the topic that we were talking about before. Before we go into the closed session, we need to take care of some submitting things with MDE, so a little break.
This is that 39-page document that I always threaten we're gonna go over in its entirety, but if you just scroll all the way down to page 30, that's the one that really matters. And tonight, it doesn't matter so much. If things ended today, if we were to fast forward to December, and we went ahead and approved what they have forecasted, it's a slight 2.2% decrease in levy to our taxpayers. Again, tonight, we just always approve maximum. We're not going out for a November election, which can change these numbers. They just, about every 3 days, we get an email saying they've made some adjustments and they've made some corrections, and there's just a million formulas built into here. So tonight, it's just about approving max. We do a little work in the summer. I sit down with Macy and make some decisions. She's got to have certain programs in place in order to do the levy. They make sure that she's filled out her applications and then she requests the dollars. Right now, it's showing a slight decrease in community ed. The ones that influence things more, the debt service, we had Michael Hart, you guys are familiar with him, we work as a financial advisor. He just automatically goes ahead and reviews levies for people, and he said everything looks right on his end. The slight decrease in Fund 7 is just due to, they'll look at a previous year fund balance in that area. They don't want that to get too high, so they reduce the levy a little bit in that area, which saves our taxpayers money. General fund, it's just all formula driven, tied to enrollment. Enrollment goes down, things go down, dollars go down. So no big sways there, so we'll just go ahead and approve maximum. And yes, after the meeting, we'll submit that to MDE, Terry signs, and we're good to go until December. Okay?
Thank you, Carla.
Yes.
And so I'm asking the board to certify the maximum levy authority for the 2025 payable 2026 as explained by Carla.
I make a motion to approve the maximum levy authority for 2025 payable 2026 as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Phillips, seconded by Ms. De La Cruz to approve the maximum levy authority for 25 payable 2026. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is our responsibility to offer the public a truth and taxation hearing date? It is the time of year again to nail down that date. We generally have done in the past ahead of our December board meeting, so we're asking to continue with that consistency. And that would be December 15th, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the Secondary Media Center over at NRHEG. Anyone have any problem with that? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve that date of December 15th, 2025 for the Truth and Taxation meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the truth and taxation hearing date of December 15th, 2025 at 6 p.m. at the Secondary Media Center.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. De La Cruz, seconded by Ms. Single to approve December 15th, 2025 for the Truth and Taxation hearing, 6 p.m. in the Secondary Media Center in Richland. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Inclusive Playground, we have before us a contribution. We all are aware of the hard work that's been going into that, and it's fun to see that come together. Mr. Mayak, could you tell us about this, please?
Yeah, it's, as everyone's aware of the work that has been put into it, the different fundraising and events that have taken place, and as the community playground committee is closing in on the funds for, they are closing in on the funds to complete the next large purchase. A district contribution would allow the next piece to be purchased. We have that purchased here within the next few days. It would sit in storage and as the other equipment did over the winter months, and then be installed next spring. But that district contribution would allow the next piece to be purchased, and it would be appropriate, an appropriate contribution to the committee's work that is benefiting our students and our facilities. So I'd ask that you consider to approve a contribution of $5,000 to the Inclusive Playground project.
I'll move to approve the contribution of $5,000 towards the inclusive playground as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Schoenrock, seconded by Ms. Tyre to approve the $5,000 donation to the Inclusive Playground. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have a revised 10-year long-term facility maintenance plan.
And I wasn't trying to deceive you by not saying that the agenda has changed, but and I guess technically it has changed, but I wanted a little bit more of an explanation on this, that through our work with SiteLogic and through Carla's work with SiteLogic and MDE, they were asking for some changes to the coding, and I'm gonna give my explanation to this, and then Carla will correct anything that I say and tell you to you as a business manager would. But MDE wants to get some clarification, or has made some changes with some codes, and what number, what code number has to go for this purchase and that purchase, and it's all pertaining to the project that we had last summer. SiteLogic is involved, was involved, and is still involved in clarifying those codes and giving some explanation to the different funds that we had through our levy. If you remember, there was 3 different pots of money, one of which was for sidewalks and parking lot that could only be used for sidewalks and parking lot. So now MDE is saying that the board approval that has been made in August, July, it suffice. It's what they need, and they'll continue to work with Carla and with SiteLogic on fine-tuning those codes. So no board approval, no additional or revised board approval is needed. So good news as far as that. Carla still is working, or has work to do with it, but there is no revision to the LTFM plan that was submitted. Any corrections on my statement?
No, that was perfect.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate So that moves us then, correct me if I'm wrong, to the purchase of the land then, the 10-year plan was all part of that?
Correct.
Yep,
Yep,
okay.
yep. So the purchase of land is next.
Yes. We're all aware of, we had a work session earlier this evening. And the next item of business is the purchase of land. Mr. Mayak, please.
The Buildings and Grounds Committee, as well as the study session, has determined that a recommendation will be made to the school board for purchasing and moving forward with the purchase of the property located at 302 Broadway Avenue South. I'd ask for your approval on proceeding forward with that purchase.
I would go ahead and make that motion to approve the purchase of the land at 302 Broadway Avenue South. For many of you that don't know that property, it is the property adjoining our parking lot at the NRHEG site. We currently have a purchase agreement in place for that property, pending board approval here this evening, so.
I'll second the motion.
Motion has been made by Rick Schultz, seconded by Mr. Schoenrock to approve the purchase of land at 302 Broadway Avenue South in Richmond. Is there any further discussion? If not, I will call for a vote. All in favor of purchasing the land at 302 Broadway Avenue South, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
No.
I will move to a roll call vote just so the minutes, I assume that has passed, but I will go to a roll call vote if you would help me with that, Ms. Engel, please.
Terry Engel, nay. Amy Berkey,
Yes.
Kelly De La Cruz,
Nay.
Aaron Phillips,
Yes.
Lauren Shanerock,
Yes.
Pat Tyre,
Yes.
Rick Schultz.
Yes. Motion carries. The 26-27 revised academic calendar is before us this evening. I think, again, we've had some conversation with this. Mr. Mayak, would you like to update us on what that actually is about, please?
Yeah, the key conversation, or the key points of the conversation have been that through our most recent legislative session, we're allowed to start school for the 26-27 school year and the 27-28 school year on September 1st. And that's primarily because Labor Day falls as late as it can on the calendar. And so myself, along with Mr. Domeyer, have, and truth be told, more so Mr. Domeyer has been working on the revisions to put together a contract, or put together a calendar that has a September 1st start date. Some key points of this calendar would be the back to school week would be on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, the last week of August. And then the fourth day would be on Monday, August 31st, with the students coming back into school on Tuesday, September 1st. There will be school on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday that week, the first week of September. School would be added back to the calendar on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Typically that was a no contact or a non-student day. That would be added back as a student contact day. And then the fourth quarter would then end on Friday, May 28th. The exciting part of that would, with this earlier start date, that school would be completed before Labor Day. And Memorial Day. I keep doing that every time, every time. On our next agenda item, you'll be asked to approve May 28th as the date for the commencement ceremony. Regardless of the next agenda item, back to the revised academic calendar, students would be done on the 28th. Potentially graduation would take place on the 28th. Teachers would report to the building on Tuesday, June 1st for their last workday. So with that information and the availability to make these changes, I'd ask for your approval on this revised academic calendar.
Make a motion to approve the 2026-27 revised academic calendar to start school on September 1st as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Tyler, seconded by Ms. Erke to approve the revision to the 26-27 academic calendar. Is there any discussion?
Is that, I guess I'm just asking, the 28th then, is that in the evening that graduation would take place?
That would be the next
The next item here,
okay,
but,
we're
but
just
yes.
Well, I'm
revising.
just curious
That's
with
part
the
of,
approval, because normally the seniors, the last day they do practice and then, so,
right,
Yeah, I guess to answer that, yes, it would be an evening
okay. All right,
commencement ceremony.
just difference.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, what principals would think of with the September 4th being a school day and that's Labor Day weekend. You think there might be quite a few absences? I mean, it's a potential.
that's the Tuesday?
No, that's
Friday.
No, it's the
Friday.
Friday.
the
Oh,
4th.
oh,
They
oh,
have
gotcha.
school on that day,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that's the long Labor Day weekend, so,
It's very possible, and you know, there's always with the state fair too.
yeah.
I'd argue that we're gonna get it one way or another. We're gonna get
Probably.
Labor Day, we're gonna get Memorial Day.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd bring it up,
Yeah, there certainly could be, but.
because there's a lot of 4-H kids too that, we have a big, representation, it seems like, every year at the state fair, which is wonderful. So, I just, I'm
And I
not gonna
think-
not.
no,
That's a good
I'm
point.
just-
No,
Excuse.
and I think in part of that conversation, that was a very challenging subject. I think that subject has been talked about, not only with the staff, but I think, I don't wanna speak out of turn, but I understand that those absentee, that they'd be excused absences to attend a project-based state fair, maybe not a day
Monday?
off to go to the state fair, but if you have the proper reasoning to be at the state fair, that would be considered an excused absence, so.
Also staff with children or livestock up there. That's
Right.
also staff absences that first week of school.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting, the history that I've always taken on a staff calendar, our requirement of a board is to make sure the contract and the student contact days are met. I think the rest of it comes to administration to find that calendar mix that works best for education. So, I think it's time to try this,
Okay.
you know, from a standpoint of, it presents itself to have some advantages to revise it to this, so.
There'll be a lot of schools starting now.
Yeah.
They do anyway now.
Right,
Right, yeah.
so, and a Friday night graduation commencement exercise might be kind of a new favorite for some people, and others it might complicate it. So, yeah, it'd be,
And there's a 18 months or so of
Right.
advance
Well, yeah,
warning.
they have time. Change
Right.
is hard
Yes.
for everyone and they have time to adjust.
And there are other days on the calendar too, as we're all aware, that, you know, we might have a 2-day school week before winter break, which allows staff and students to be gone a couple days during that week, and it might be coming back after the winter break as well, just a 2 or 3 day week, the first week of January, that those times are, there are opportunities like that throughout the calendar at any given year, but the point is very well made and understood that
Well, I mean, I
there's
just
possibilities.
brought it up for discussion.
No,
so-
that's a good point.
no.
Funsies, it's all good, we can move it.
All right, I'll ask one more time, any further discussion? I apologize, I have to ask who seconded that.
Amy.
Amy, thank you. Motion made by Ms. Tyre, seconded by Ms. Erke to approve the 26-27 revised academic calendar. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we can talk about the Friday night graduation ceremony. Ms. De La Cruz, would you like to lead that?
Yeah, it's excellent. I love all of it. I can actually make a motion. We'll go ahead and I'll motion to approve the graduation moving to Friday night, which is,
I actually do have just one super small question. Since the 28th is the last day of school, would they get out at 1 o'clock that day? Is that how that looks? Sorry.
Early dismissal.
Is that an early dismissal day as well?
You're out.
Normally it is, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think those things could be, that would be my assumption as well, but as a committee, we'd get together and I could say, the half a day is, staff recognition and a chance to do some things with the staff, and that could be part of the work day, that could remain as a half day and get students out, and Mr. Berg will schedule a practice in with the seniors to go through the commencement ceremony, and off they go. And then things are finalized on Friday night, and we're done for the weekend.
I'd argue maybe they remember the practice. You have to move to the evening instead of Sunday. Maybe it'll help.
All right. Ms. De La Cruz has made that motion. Did I miss a second, or is there a second?
you can get there.
Second.
Great. Perfect. Motion made by Ms. De La Cruz, seconded by Mr. Phillips to approve graduation ceremony for Friday, May 28th, 2027.
6.
Seven,
Seven.
right?
Oh, it's 7.
Yeah.
I hope- yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's another day.
It says 26.
Typo.
It should be 27.
I thought it was this
Sure.
year. You're right, yeah, I'm wrong.
No.
Makes a lot of years of agenda.
Takes a
All-
village.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Teacher growth and development plan for 25 through 26, strengthening trust and confidence. Sounds like a great plan. Mr. Mayak, please.
This is another yearly approval. This is under the supervision or under the umbrella of our teaching and learning coordinator, Amanda Peterson, that, and along with the principals, refining and making some changes. No significant changes to this year's teacher growth and development plan, but as required by state, we're asking for your approval on the presented TG&D plan.
I make a motion to approve the teacher growth and development plan 25-26, strengthening trust and confidence as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Phillips, seconded by Ms. Tyre to approve the teacher growth and development plan for 25-26 as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. This time we will take a short recess, and after the recess we will go into closed session for the purpose of the annual performance evaluation of the superintendent pursuant to Minnesota State Statute 13D.05 subdivision 3A. So if anyone wants to take a short break, and we have some paperwork to sign, or Ms. Engel does, and we will be back shortly moving into closed session.
What's happening?